Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red-glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner
So this makes this class extra special. Given that this is an anniversary year, I've had the opportunity to compose a weekly look back at Harvard. So in 40 weeks, I have done 40 years of Harvard. It was quite a journey. I can see the pattern of the school in each year. First days of school, Independence Day celebrations, winter feasts, holidays, proms, and graduations. Perhaps the best part of putting together the weekly look-backs is the opportunity to see so many students who have graduated from Harvard. Like today's class, many of the graduates spent a large chunk of their educational time at Harvard, and it's fun to reminisce about those times and also think about where those students are now. We know what those students are doing as they've become adults, and we know that they've been successful. Leaving Harvard is a somewhat emotional journey for our graduates who approach the world both with bravado and a little bit of trepidation. However, I can see this pattern of successful journeys from the school to the bigger world. Our graduates have gone on to work, college, living independently, and having their own families. Most importantly, each is living his or her best life. This class is ready to do the same. The same weekly task has allowed me to reflect on the amazing staff that have helped in the journey. If you read the social media posts and the weekly emails, you know that I list by year each staff that was hired and if they're still working with us. I was privileged to share the names of multiple staffs every week starting in the 13th year. That means the longest staff member, besides Dr. Jacobs, has been here 27 years, and we have continued forward. Many of the staff sitting here today have been here 5, 10, 15 years. It's quite a journey. You can see in those photos what you see here today. Staff who are amazingly hardworking. Staff who see special education as a vocation. Staff who work tirelessly to provide exceptional educational programming for our students. It is a privilege to work with each of you, and I am grateful for the hard work each of you does every day, and creating an environment that prepares our students for the bigger world. Clap. Not lost in the pattern of those photos and memories are the amazing families. You have supported, loved, sometimes a little tough love, and mentored our graduates. Each of us here knows that the road was not always easy for you. However, there has been joys, laughter, and love, which you have shared with us here at Harbor. There will be joy, laughter, and love as you go forward, and we hope you will continue to share that with Harbor as each of your graduates graduates. Each of you, too, is part of our Harbor family, and we hope that you will stay close with us into the future. The pattern of all these years tells me that too often we are caught in what's next, and we worry about the unknown. We sometimes miss the simple joys of the moment. The next steps of the journey will happen, and each senior is uniquely prepared to travel his or her own path. So please take a deep breath. This day is to celebrate, to savor the joy of the moment, and maybe cry a few happy tears. Please join me in welcoming the class of 2021.
Welcome to the graduation ceremony of the 2022 Harbor High School graduation class, our largest class ever at each campus. We're very proud of our kids. And everybody on our staff has worked very hard with you to bring us to this moment. And we have a wish for our children, and Ms. Osterman is going to describe that wish in music. Together, where we can see each other and touch each other. We are sending these graduates, these students, into a complex, and some people might say a pretty challenging world. But the world, the world has always been challenging. Each generation has had to conquer its own difficulties. Today, there are multiple Goliaths among us, and it is up to each one of us to be the stone that brings them down. Because for every Goliath, there is a stone. Russian aggression in Ukraine has taught the world that a people inspired with a lot of help from friends can hold off one of the world's most powerful countries. The good news out of Ukraine, besides the incredible resistance of its people, is that the world seems to have learned from Chamberlain's appeasement of Hitler prior to World War II, and it seems to have realized that appeasement only emboldens a bully. It does not contain him. Every Ukrainian fighter, every individual supporting the cause of freedom and resistance is a stone to bring down this Goliath. And there are Goliaths closer to home. Each morning, as part of our morning news show, our community pledges allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There are some among us who seem to be struggling with the word indivisible. They would seek to divide us by race, by faith, by gender, by ethnicity of birth. Why do we need to be divided? Are we not all Americans, one nation under God? This is a serious Goliath with the power to divide us from our core beliefs and heritage. This Goliath would make us weaker, because we all should know that, as Alexander Hamilton said so very long ago, we must all hang together, or assuredly we will hang separately. 235 years ago, members of Congress declared that we, the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do hereby ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. There are many things remarkable about this preamble and this document, hardly the least of which is it is the longest continually serving Constitution in the world, even though we are among the younger countries of the world. But more remarkable than that, this document was made by we, the people, individual people. The Declaration of Independence, that had come years earlier, was made by the individual states. But this document for the governance of our country was made by individual people committing to a society of domestic tranquility and to form a more perfect union. And so the effort continues today. Just as the founders recognized there was work to be done, they realized that we were imperfect and we needed to work towards becoming more perfect. And so today, still, we are working toward perfecting that union and perfecting ourselves. Each of us as an individual needs to be the stone that brings down the Goliath that seeks to make us divisible, even though every time we pledge allegiance to our flag and our country, we pledge to a nation that is indivisible. It is not just our society that is working to become more perfect. Each of us is struggling as an individual to do that as well. Look at these graduates. They came to us because their home school district declared that their educational needs could not be met within the school system. Or they came to us because their parents and families recognized that same situation and demanded more and different for their kids. They wanted the Harbor School to create a more perfect learner. And with the efforts of our students and families and staff, the Harbor School has met the challenge. Our staff is a group of some very remarkable people. Most of them can't sing as well as Paul and Leah or Dr. Ford, but they're still very remarkable people. All through the pandemic, we asked so much of them. We asked them to create the best online learning experience, and they answered, we will do that. And then we asked them to work together and gradually bring our kids back into the building where kids learn best. And they answered again, we will do that. Finally, this year we closed down online learning. That is the world's greatest oxymoron, I don't know on record to say. And we said, all hands on deck, everyone, we're going to school. And they said, okay, here we are, let's get to work. And they did, and they did. This has been a challenging year as we work to regain our balance and our footing within our buildings, both literally and figuratively. So would Harbor staff please rise so we can say a rousing thank you for all you do to make us a fine time. They are amazing people. Probably, they love your kids almost as much as you do. These graduates you see on this stage have experienced the tumultuous 2.5 years. They were out in the building, then they were in the building part-time, then they were in the building full-time, and some of them have sacrificed some of the high school conditions. But finally, this year, we were able to come through a typical senior year, and you have to love them, every one. I would be remiss if I didn't mention one of this year's most special events. This year, this month, marks the culmination of a year-long 40th anniversary celebration. It's been marked by t-shirts, because nothing really happens unless there is a t-shirt. But we've also had mugs and parties and special celebrations. 40 years is a long time, particularly when I realized that many of our staff weren't even born when this school started. Here's looking at you, babies. As many of you know, we have a social worker in Annapolis who was born the year the school started. I always torment her about that. As many of you know, we began our school with 4 students in a rented room. Today, the Harbor School is the 4th largest non-public school in Maryland. And we are the only one of the top 4 that is not controlled by an outside corporation. We are in 3 buildings that are ours. We are serving almost 400 students. I just realized that's 100 times the number of kids we started with. Oh, that's remarkable. And as of this graduating class, we have graduated almost 700 students. This is a big footprint on kids' lives. But bigger is very often not necessarily better. And while we are happy to be bigger, what makes us happiest is that footprint on the kids. From day one, we have believed in 2 overriding values, and those have never changed. The first value is kids' needs come first. That's the first view. Yesterday, our curriculum coordinator changed a little bit of something in the graduation ceremony. Everybody was terrified because I want anything to change. And so I said to her, I understand you changed something. And she said, yes. And I said, why did you do that? And she started to stumble, and I said, no, here's the sentence, because it was better for the kids. She said, it was better for the kids. I said, well, there you go. So that's our first value. Our second value is students need to be taught the way they learn best, not the way we like to teach. Ah, what a phenomenon. Whenever we've come to a crossroad, we have taken the road dictated by those values. And often, it is a road less taken by other schools. But it is always the road that our values demand. And we have stayed true to those values. And finally, selfishly, Let me say that I too am celebrating a milestone. This month marks the 60th year that I have been a licensed certified special education teacher. That definitely is longer than some of our staff have been alive. People regularly ask me what keeps me going. Why haven't I retired? Why do I come back every year? I used to come up with some erudite answer, but here's the simple truth. I love what I do, I'm having fun, and the work that I do is very important. I hope that you will all join me in celebrating these graduates and the 40th year of this fine school. And please, anytime you come across a Goliath, pick up a stone and bring it down. Thank you. Of our staff talent, Dr. Ford.
I want to be a day to give.
during all these musical renditions is Noelle Butler, she has a side job. She's the program director in Annapolis. Also has a we're a low budget school, so everybody has more than one. Kim?
Hello, Kim Harrison. I'm the curriculum coordinator. I will not be singing. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce our seniors to give their senior speeches this year. First up, we have Maxwell.
Good afternoon. I think I might get right into it. I've already been introduced. I was originally going to deliver my speech in the form of a song. I genuinely enjoyed writing music here. I was invested, and I enjoyed it, but I feel like this would be more meaningful, straightforward. You know, it feels kind of strange standing up here on graduation day. I never thought I'd actually be here at this point, in my 6 years of being at the Harbor School. Sure, I'd fly up from middle school, back in the days of being the Afro guy, but here, as a high school graduate, seems like a complete fantasy. Speaking of being here in middle school, it's been a long run, a whole roller coaster of events in and out of school, ups, downs, things completely out of left field, but that's life. Man, you know, now that I think about it, I really did go through the high school experience, without the excessive bullying, but I digress. You see, that's what made it great for me. I experienced a change of pace that led to an easier work environment and educational experience. With my positive experience here, there's a lot of memories I've made, and a lot of things I'll miss. The companionship I've garnered with my friends, the cool teachers I've come to know and bond with, and the fun I've had with all of them. It all makes it hard to break it down into one thing. My long-standing favorites will be the time I spend with my friends, the ones that I've had since middle school. But if I'm to break it down to just one, it's the overnight before the pandemic. I was in a group with a teacher who has since left, and when I tell you it was wild, I mean it was wild. Everything about that trip was more or less what I strive to have more often in life. The important part that everyone wants to know is what my future plans are. I plan in August to go to Frederick Community College to take a certificate course in music and audio production. After that point, maybe not exactly after, I plan on going to a four-year institution. Where exactly? I'm not totally sure yet. That's a bridge I plan on crossing when I get there. And the part that I am most proud to deliver, the thank yous to staff and to my parents and to everyone else. I have a lot to cram in, but I'm going to make it work. My biggest thank you has to go to Dr. Ford. I don't know what I'd do or where I'd be without your kindness, care, and support. I wouldn't imagine I wouldn't be exactly quite as happy of a person as I am now, and that's saying quite a bit. The IUP mentors and homeroom teachers, they were such great people. Their support, and for lack of a better word, coolness, was a big help in forming a tight bond, and their placement as their mentees was perfect. To all the teachers, both still here and who have since departed the school, that helped me through difficult work, put up with my nonsense, and has made boring work tolerable and fun stuff fun, thank you for your effort, your tolerance, and just being here. I don't know where I'd be without you all. And of course, I have to thank my family for their unending support, love, and care. My friends, who brought smiles to my face whenever I needed it. When the lack of motivation hit, they gave me some desire to push through the school day or the life, despite how much I may have wanted to give up. Now, I depart with these words. As you wish me good luck with a successful future, I wish you the best in future endeavors. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Harbor is the best place for me because I can learn at my own pace. I can get my work done. Also, I have been really patient with me and understand me really well. I learn strategies that help me better too. One of my favorite things about Harbor was my experience with online learning during COVID. I enjoyed staying home, doing schoolwork, and getting my work done. Another one of my favorite experiences was being in different sport teams, including the 2018 and 19 undefeated championship, and plus, and Chile like Also, I like being in the CRD classes because I was able to work in 2 jobs. My favorite job was at working at Dason Farm Bird Rescue and enjoying working at Baltimore Country Club doing ground coaches. Another thing I liked about Harbor was that I was able to go to different kinds of overnight trips. My favorite memory was going to DC tour. Also, was going to Grateful Lodge. It was really fun because of the waterfall. One of the trips I was able to see in the sea was horses on Assateague Island in Virginia while coming home from Grateful Lodge. There are many people I like to thank over the years. First of all, I like to thank a big thanks to my homework teacher, Ms. Pasco, because she helped me a lot, even if she was hard on me. She encouraged me to do things even when they are difficult. Also, she's a great teacher and helped me with my skills to need to graduate. I'd like to thank Mr. Benitez. He had have to deal with me for many years. Because helped me become a better teenager and better athlete. Another teacher I'd like to thank is my counselor, Ms. Weldon, for helping me with social skills. Also, I would thank my speech teacher, Ms. Phillips, because she helped me with grammar and my language. I'd like to thank Mr. Pena for letting me be in his class for landscaping, but not least, Ms. Kenner for being a great reading teacher. Another person I'd like to thank is Alyssa for being a great, awesome person. Most important, I want to thank my parents for helping me, no matter how I'm acting. In so many ways. My future plans after Harbor is including 2 jobs and two part-time jobs and living with my family. The jobs will be working at Oak Crest Senior Living and also working at nearby vegetable farms. Also on my travel places, explore what's going on. Thank you.
Our next senior is William Brown.
Thank you for coming. One thing I could say right now, right off the bat, is that I will miss beating Mr. Johnson, Mr. Benitez, Mr. Gibson, Mr. Emerson, and Mr. Payno in basketball. It's been tough. I also want to thank my transition specialists, Ms. Faluso, Ms. Hoy, and Ms. Speeds. They helped me get prepared for my life after school. Also, Ms. McMahon for helping me with my horrible spelling. Horrible spelling. There are so many people who have helped me in so many ways, but I don't have enough time to thank everyone. So I want to give everyone who's helped me a big fat thank you for all that you've done for me in this time. My plan after school is to become a masseuse because I've always loved helping people, and this will also help me to help many people in need. And thanks to my family for helping me through it all. Thanks to my mom for being a lovely human being, and my dad for all the fatherly advice. Thank you.
Our next graduate is Ian Colton-Schneider.
Hello there. I have achieved success by working hard at Harvard. Harvard is the best school for me because my experiences in public school included having to deal with tests, studying, and scores. I felt silly and nervous at public school. When I got to Harvard, I felt happy because there were things I liked to do, like the overnights, after-school clubs, and sports. Additionally, I got to make murals during homeroom and have village before the weekends. I got better with talking to my peers. I got to this point by getting taken for speech. My favorite memory from my time in school was an outdoor club when we got logs and made a bonfire. I felt happy. I really liked going to my job with my transition specialists. My future plans are to become a golf coach, working in graphic design, working as a housekeeper at a hotel, and becoming a laundry manager. My transition specialists, Ms. Bees, Ms. Peluso, and Ms. Hoy, really helped me figure out what I wanted to do. I really like to take a lot of people in my own room. You look out for me and talk to me a lot. My caregiver helped me achieve service hours outside of school. I will miss having all my classes and seeing my teachers the most. I would like to thank Mr. Johnson, Ms. McMahon, Ms. Emmerich, Mr. Harrison, Ms. Farmay, Ms. Salami, and Mr. McCullen. Thank you.
Our next graduate is Nicholas Davis Melianza.
Well, I made it. It's been a long road since my early days at Kensington Parkwood and then on to Kingsbury for 6 years. And then to the Harbor School. Over these years, I've learned a lot, especially how the mind develops over time. The majority of my days I spent at Kingsbury, they had their ups and downs. I've always enjoyed learning. I tried to teach others at the same time through science fair projects and other projects. In August of 2018, I came to the Harbor School, and at first I was extremely aggressive towards others, and that was due to me leaving a familiar place I had come to love. Though I thought that moving schools was a bad thing, I have gained many new opportunities that I wouldn't have had without changing. If only I knew as much as I know now, but then. And I learned that leaving people behind allowed for me to meet new people that cemented themselves in my life. I'll never forget them. I took it upon myself to mentor middle school to help them grow to the best as they can be, as I see them as if they are my own children. I've made many friends, and I thank them for putting up with my shenanigans over the years. I hope that the rest of you, graduates, go on to successful careers and happy lives. We are all in this together. And I've learned that nothing comes easy, and that you must persevere, and that is what I did, with the help of all of you. To my teachers, thank you for your patience with me, and for the support. I may have been a pain in the rear end in the past, but I've matured a lot, and will use my newfound knowledge to my advantage. I couldn't have done it without you. And though I fear change, I must face it, as we all have to face the real world at some point. I know that my mark will be left on the school and in the minds of all who met me. My chaotic energy kept others up, and I quote one of my teachers. They said, "Your first day you were here, you were all quiet and shy. Day 2, full tornado mode." Thanks again to Dr. Shobat, my neighbor Margie, my grandmother, Mr. Brown, and all others for believing in me. Also, a big thank you to Ms. Snyder and Dr. Jacobs for giving me the opportunity to prove myself. The actions you make in the present may not matter to you now, but will matter to the legacy that you leave behind for others to follow. My mark will remain in the minds of all those who met me again. I will be missed, but do not cry. Remember, I always lurk somewhere in your memories.
Our next graduate is Brendan Doherty.
Hi everyone, my name is Brendan Doherty. I've been attending the Harbor School now for 7 years. Before finding about Harbor, I had previously attended 3 other schools where I was not given the correct support or help that I was needed to be successful. But that all changed when I started attending the Harbor School. The Harbor School has given me many favorable memories. So many, as a matter of fact, that only one really stands out. That one that stands out would have to be the trip to Great Wolf Lodge, where I had first met my high school homeroom teacher and IEP mentor, and was most memorable because it was my first overnight trip at this school. After I graduated from Harbor, I plan on attending Carroll Community College to further more my education and to hopefully transfer over to a 4-year college to earn at least a bachelor's degree. And if all goes well, then I plan on going for a master's degree. I plan on pursuing a degree in marine biology. Mr. Benitez, Mr. Johnson, Ms. Bell, Dr. Ford, Ms. Kenneth. Thank you all for supporting me with the proper foundation and providing me with the help when I needed to talk to someone in school and having my back when it was needed. Lastly, but most importantly, I'd like to thank my family for always being there, starting with my mom. I'd like to say in countless words, if it hadn't been for you in my life, I wouldn't know what or where I would be today. My dad, I would like to thank you for helping me out at home when times were not the best, and if you had not stepped up and helped me in the ways you had ever done, even if they were a bit harsh, I would never have learned how to cope and get better like I have today. Lastly, but not least, I have saved the best for last, my brother. As annoying as he can be at times, I can't complain, because if it weren't for him, I would never ever be so successful or the person I am today. So I would like to say thank you for supporting me when the time was needed. Thank you all for coming today.
Hello, I have been at the Harbor School for 10 years. One reason the Harbor School was the best school for me because it let me work in the community. Also, it allowed me to get some work experience. Doing my work helped me learn responsibility. One memory I have is my first day at the Harbor School and Lower School. I specifically remember Dr. Ford walked me around and showed me all the classrooms. Another great memory I have is going to Great Wolf Lodge for an overnight trip. My favorite part was the water slides what I will miss the most is seeing all of my favorite teachers and best friends every day and making new friends in high school. My future plans are to become a vet tech because I love working with animals. I would like to complete the PAWS program at CCBC. I am hoping to continue work at Joseph Vet Center. Working with animals makes me happy. Hopefully in about 5 years I will be living on my own. I want to thank Ms. Bell for helping me get through rough times. Also Ms. Hargis for being my IEP mentor. Thank you Mr. Barton, Ms. Meyer, Ms. Fletcher, and Ms. Bauer for helping me get through math. Thank you Mr. B for being my academy teacher. Dr. Ford, thank you for being my clinician. Ms. Kennedy for being my reading teacher. Lastly, I would like to thank my family for supporting me through my journey. Also, always being there for me, always making me happy on my rough days, telling me to think positive, not negative, more so my dad, also my mom, and asking how my school days go. Thank you all for coming.
Our next graduate is Hale Fleischer.
Good afternoon. During my 6 years at Harvard, I have accomplished and overcome many obstacles that I face. Drama, new skills, controversy, and a worldwide pandemic. Although we are trying to get through it, we are still here today. If not, we would have 5-minute speeches on a Zoom call, having our pets and siblings making noise in the background. Sounds like the same stuff I could say about our school. Putting the negatives aside, I have accomplished many goals with help from my teachers and friends, which inspired me to do the same in my work as a coach in school and outside of school, as well as being captain and leader on the field and on the court. My favorite memories I had at Harvard were the ones that made me the happiest. For example, my friends and I hanging out and making fun of our teachers, and then having our teachers firing back at us, which made us laugh so hard for 2 minutes that we couldn't breathe. I would like to thank my teachers in high school. I would like to thank Mr. Benitez for teaching me how to love my job of coaching and teaching me how to feel comfortable around people, young and old, and teaching me how to be a mature and responsible adult. Mr. Hargis and Ms. Bell, thank you for teaching me in English and with other personal issues whenever I feel down. Mr. Trezulli and Mr. Johnson, I appreciate you both being the ones coaching me in sports and helping me build up my strength, confidence, and health. You both helped me get better in sports and at school. The other teachers I didn't mention, thank you for teaching me and supporting me over the years in high school. I also like to thank my friends. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to succeed here at Harvard. You all showed me how much you cared, loved, and supported me throughout my years at school up until now. You all helped me, whether it's work that is difficult for me to understand, problems that I'm having inside or outside school, or reminding me to pay before you drink a bottle of Sprite. I miss these moments we all had together. I'm hoping to care, support, and love you all throughout your careers, just like you have all done for me throughout my 6 years at school. They say family comes first, but I say the best for last. I want to thank my brother Alec, although we don't get along much. I'm fighting over the car. You're still part of our family. Please. What you say sometimes when something's stupid, it makes me laugh so hard, but it makes me laugh. my sister Shayna, probably my biggest supporter out of all my friends. He comes to every game I play and events I'm a part of, including today. I thank you for being my biggest fan, even though you are loud and gossip on FaceTime. Lastly, my mom and dad. Although the last 3 months have been hard for all of us, we finally chose where I'm going to go after high school. You both always understood me well and told me everything that I should look forward to. Thinking about it now, I will say I am feeling a little scared, but excited at the same time about going to Boston for college. I want to thank you both for understanding how difficult it is for me to leave home in the first place. Mom and Dad, thank you for bringing me to this school and helping me accomplish and succeed here at Harvard. I wouldn't have been here without you. Thank you for capturing everything I did at the school, from sports, the talent show, taking pictures with me and my friends, even though you won't stop taking pictures of me and not always knowing how to work a camera. I still love you both, and I look forward to having you both support me in the future. To the rest of the class of 2022, I wish you all the best of luck, and I'm looking forward to what the future holds. Thank you.
Our next graduate is Connor Gamble.
Hello everyone. I am up here because the Harbor School helped me get through all the difficulties I had in previous schools. They have helped me complete many assignments like math, English, science, government, and others. I'd also like to thank my transition specialist for helping me get a job so I can get good work experiences. I'm thankful for getting to this point by just doing my work and getting my competencies done and finished. My favorite Harbor School memories are being able to achieve success and not be bullied in school and making long-time friendships. My future plans are to find jobs that I'm interested in, to then have experience from them to move on in this world. I've started a job at St. Joseph's Hospital working in supply. I would like to continue working there because it makes me feel like I belong in this world. I want to thank my teachers for getting me here where I am now, to all others for supporting me through my time here in school. I couldn't have gotten here without your help, and I wish I could return the favor. Thanks, Harbor School, for having me succeed through the years. Again, I couldn't have gone anywhere if it weren't for you. And thank you to my mom and my dad for getting me in a school that helps my needs. I love you, and I hope we can move forward together. I'm really proud that I am graduating because it has been a struggle for 30 years. Thank you all for coming.
Our next graduate is Sophia Goldstein.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome you to our graduation today from Harvard. Harvard's the best school for me because I love all the staff and they taught me every subject and did a great job. I achieved all my goals, I followed directions, and listened to all my teachers. My favorite memories were the overnight trips, field trips, fun times in the planes. After I leave Harvard, I plan to get a job working with little kids or in animal care. I would like to thank all my teachers for preparing me to do this. The Harvard School was the best school ever, and I miss Harvard so much. I would like to thank my family and my grandparents for coming to all my plays and Grandparents' Day. I miss the fun times when you came to all my fun activities at school. I miss the amazing staff and all my friends. and I hope to keep in touch with all of you and the friends of our school. Goodbye and thank you.
Our next graduate is William Gordon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I've been in Harbor for 7 years. I achieved my success with the help of my mother. She took the time to find the right school for me, since public school hasn't been working at the time for me. Thank you, Mom, for supporting me. I also got to this point by being a hard worker and help from the teachers. My favorite memory from the time at Harbor was when we had our undefeated soccer championship in 2018. Our defense was unbelievably good. The thing I will miss the most at Harbor is playing sports with my friends, since it got me to socialize with teammates. My future plans are becoming an automotive mechanic. I enjoy working on cars. My mother and I found a program for me in the summer to learn everything about becoming an automotive mechanic. I intend to find a full job after the program. I would like to thank Ms. Fletcher for being supportive to me when I was going through hard times. I'd also like to thank Mr. Benitez for being the best gym teacher and supporting me throughout the years. Thank you everyone for supporting me throughout the years at Harbor.
Our next graduate is Sarah Hall.
Good afternoon, families and friends. I will miss seeing my friends and teachers at school every day. My favorite memory was being in the Performing Arts Academy during my high school years, being in 9th grade. I also enjoyed being in school plays and musicals and helping in school step builds. My favorite show was in High School Musical. I will also miss being in other school activities such as Girls Club and Teen Club. My future plans after graduate is to continue working at a daycare or get a job at a hospital. I would like to thank my family for helping me get into the Harbor School, supporting me throughout the high school years, and coming to the school play. I would like to thank all the staff for helping me through my high school years in order to graduate. Thank you.
Our next graduate is Annika Connor.
Good afternoon, everyone. I've been at Harbor School since January 17th. I'm glad to get home. I was working very hard. It's taken 7 years to get. I've been here for 5 years. I've had very few great moments at Harbor. I'll miss my friends most of all. I want to farm with my friends and the academy with my friends. I love doing school, spring musicals and shows. I enjoy going to school on Saturdays for set builds, all that help with all the productions. My favorite thing in school is going to overnight and spend time with good friends. Thank all the teachers that helped me to get all of our classwork done. My plans are to get a job after high school is to work in my church instead of teachers. I also have to get my friends to help me be a non-public placement. I also have been a mom and dad friend in Harbor School. Helped me be successful and how to help me. Thank you all the parents who helped with Harbor. Thank you.
Our next graduate is Kennedy Knight.
Good afternoon, administrators, teachers, parents, friends, and fellow graduates of 2022. I would not be able to reach this milestone without my parents, my instructors who expected nothing in return but my best. When I entered Harvard, I had so many mixed feelings. Fear, nervousness, excitement, sadness. I was leaving Bachelor Lab School. My friends, my teachers. I adjusted to a new environment. I soon learned that the school was preparing me to move from childhood to adulthood. I'd personally like to thank Mr. Benitez, Mr. Gibson, Mr. Barton, Ms. Bell, Ms. Stevenson, Ms. Saul, Ms. Volusia, Ms. Command, for pushing me to my full potential and preparing me for this day. I remember the good memories, such as proms, road trips, plays that I assisted with, and community service projects, and the jobs that I was able to do in school and other places. I will take the knowledge that I have received here and use it to change the world as I enter the next chapter of my life in Atlanta, Georgia, where I plan to attend college. Thank you.
Our next graduate is Anthony Minot.
What I'm going to miss is how the school benefited other students and how much they've grown and developed. Harbor has given me people to learn from and given me new experiences, good and bad, that most schools wouldn't have. I've been introduced to many people that helped me through school. This includes a handful of teachers such as Mr. Johnson, Mr. Williams, Ms. Barbado, and Ms. Liberty. I've bonded with these people and other teachers and built strong relationships with them. Whenever I needed to vent, there was always a teacher to go to that would listen and try to help, and that was very beneficial. My friends helped me a lot and gave me an outlet to go to when I needed to release steam. And of course, my family was very helpful as well, giving me advice and suggestions. My favorite memories here would have to be working with a team on multiple sports teams and just meeting my friends. Another great memory I had was spending time with my teachers and learning new things while in class. Also, I enjoyed the DC overnight and taking nature walks. In the future, I hope to further my placement in the science department and become known as a paleo artist and author. The classes I've attended will hopefully help me with furthering my future. I would like to personally touch on how much my mother helped me and how she was with me every step of the way and supported me through what seemed like hell. She was always supportive, even knowing I was in the wrong by pulling me back on the main course of success. And I'm really grateful for that. Lastly, I would like to thank all of you for listening to my speech, and I hope everybody has a good day.
Next graduate is Peter Labruto.
Yeah, also. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Good afternoon. I hope you enjoying graduation day. I got to the point in school and life by working hard. I have learned to be more independent and better at different subjects like English and math. I used to have struggled in those subjects, but have gained more confidence. I achieved this success by working hard, being motivated, and teachers and friends pushing me to learn and get the work done. In the future plan is to become a working artist. I will achieve this goal by practicing drawing and looking at concept art. I hope to go to Montgomery College and study art, animation, and design. I would like to thank Ms. Mosby for being a great homeroom teacher and also deal with all my issues. Also, I would like to thank Ms. Stevenson for being an awesome therapist. She helped me a lot through my anxiety problems. She also made sure I was on track at graduating. Ms. Lawler for helping me get a paid job and helping me out in the community. Last but not least, thank you to all the teachers that taught me throughout my years at Harvard. I had a wonderful teacher that, wait. All right, I'm gonna redo it. Last but not least, thank you to all the teachers at
that taught me throughout my years at Harbor. I had wonderful teachers that helped me complete my work in subjects I had trouble with. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my family for supporting and helping me become a better person and ready for the future. I want to thank Mom and Dad for fighting to get the best education available to me, even though, thank you and have a good day.
Our next graduate is Hunter McLaughlin.
To all in attendance, I wish to thank you for all attending this ceremony, whether it be student, teacher, family, or friend. I welcome you all as students of this school. For my family and teachers, I wish to thank you for helping me get to this place and reach it. As for my future, I'm hoping to become a film director or a writer, for I wish to tell tales for people to enjoy. As for me, well, I've learned many things in this school: literature, math, science, and even fitness. But if I had to say my favorite class, it would be broadcasting, for I enjoy making entertainment for people. However, we are a school in which limits are still made. This shows this. And for this disappoints me as a filmmaker, but also fills me with hope and ambition. For if I do become a filmmaker, I will choose to break restrictions and expectations to show what others will hold back and hope. And inspire others to do the same and break these limits. For speech is not a gift, but a right. And to let schools, other schools, and even this one, to know that not to limit or restrict, but to evolve and change. For a school must learn to evolve like the rest of the world. If we restrict our students to what they think, then how can they think of creative ideas in the future? I believe that is what the industry lacks right now. So remember, that change is the most important thing, and it is not to be suppressed. In my eyes, when it comes to business, the most important thing is quality, not speed. Quality will bring more than speed will. That is all.
Yeah. Our next graduate is Ryan Olson.
Good afternoon. I'm happy and proud of myself for graduating from Harvard. After graduation, I am hoping to take some cooking classes to become a chef at Red Lobster. My favorite thing about Harvard was hanging out with my friends and teachers and going to the gym. I want to thank my parents for helping me out my whole life. Thank you to my mom for helping me clean my room and making my lunches every morning. Thank you to my dad for being there for me when I need help the most and driving me to school sometimes. Thank you, Mr. Harrison, for being my homeroom teacher and helping me. Thank you, Ms. Growall, for helping me with speech and spending time with me in the morning and at Teen Club. Thank you, Ms. Weldon, for being there for me when I was sad or mad or just angry. Mr. B, thank you for letting me come down to the gym and being the best gym teacher. Lastly, I would like to thank Mr. Stoops for also being a great homeroom teacher and serving our country. Thank you all for coming today, and congratulations to the class of 2022.
Our next graduate is Zachary.
Hey everyone, my name is Zach. I am 19 years old, and I have been at the Harbor School for 8 years. The Harbor School was the best school for me because of the teachers. They really helped me get through all of my work and learn new things. They are always there for me when I need extra support in the classroom. My favorite Harbor memory is the Washington, D.C. overnight trip, where I met my mentor, Mr. Johnson. We played a lot of games at Dave & Buster's, including Guitar Hero. I will always remember that trip. My future plans are go to trade school, become a diesel mechanic, and eventually own my own business. I plan on doing a lot more traveling, especially to the beach. I also hope to make good money and to one day own a piece of farmland. I would like to thank Mr. Johnson for always being there for me and giving me the best advice. Thank you, Mr. Schneider, for also giving me good advice and all the laughs. Thank you, Dr. Ford, for being my clinician, and thank you, Ms. Bell, for always supporting me and pushing me through the last year of my school. Last year of school to help me graduate. I would also like to thank my family for their support throughout the time I've been at Harvard. Mom, thank you for fighting me to get into school. Dad, thank you for being there for me and picking me up after school. And thank you to my brother-in-law, Miles, for helping me and my family out when needed.
Our next graduate is Lucas Prince.
Good afternoon. My name is Lucas Prince. Thank you to the families, friends, staff, and everyone else that is here today. Perseverance. This is one of the most meaningful words that I know, and that one very word is why I'm here today. Through the ups of making lifelong friendships, making memories with others, and the everlasting knowledge that will stay with me forever, to the downs of the difficult days and the depths of depression I faced throughout my time at Harvard, perseverance is one thing I continue to do time and time again. There is no obstacle that will prevent me from getting to where I want to be. One of the best things that I will miss about the Harbor School is the teachers, that devote their time and energy to their job 5 days, if not more, a week. The teachers that I see every day and have such great work ethic, and I commend them for all they do. In addition, the teachers at the Harbor School have taught me so much, from academics to being a productive member of society and everything in between. After Harbor, I am attending Landmark College in Putney, Vermont, where I will be majoring in financial and entrepreneurial leadership. I plan on obtaining my bachelor's in healthcare administration and management as well, in hopes to eventually own and operate drug and alcohol abuse rehabilitation and recovery centers. I would like to express gratitude to the teachers at the Harbor School, especially the ones who have taught and mentored me throughout my time at Harvard. A special thanks to a select few teachers and staff members who have always been by my side. Mr. Benitez, I would like to sincerely thank you for helping shaping me into a confident, young, productive member of society. You give me advice and support through all the questions I have, and about being a teenager and a young man. I would also like to thank my family, as they had, wait, I missed one page. Sorry about that. Miss Bell, thank you for providing me with guidance and support through my hardships and tough times, providing me with care and help when I need it most, as well as humorous conversation every day, uplifting me with every sentence. Ms. Osterman, thank you for the devotion and attention you have given me in regards to how I am feeling every day. You check in with me when I most need it, and I want to extend a big thank you. Dr. Ford, thank you for the immense amount of generous care and support you have given me over my time here at Harvard. Through the brightest of days to the darkest of days, you've been there with me through it all. Thank you. I would also like to thank my family as they have gotten me to where I am today, through the unconditional support and love they've shown me and given me throughout my lifetime. To my brother Jackson, I know we are distant, but thank you for being an amazing role model to me with regards to success and being devoted to your job. You put in an immense amount of work day in and day out, and I aspire to have that quality. Mom, thank you for the unconditional and unmatched motherly love that you have provided me with, and the help in shaping me into who I am today. Words cannot express how much I appreciate you for what you do. You inspire me to be a better person every day. I love you to the moon and back. Dad, thank you for the fatherly help, advice, and love you have and continue to show me every single moment of every single day. Progress, not perfection. Last but not least, I would like to take a moment to remember and thank my grandmother, Helen Shirk. She was the most caring and helpful, loving, and generous person that I know. She was always there for me when I needed it. She was my light in the darkness, the one I could tell anything and everything to. Graham, thank you. Love you forever and always. Rest in peace, 1942 to 2021. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you.
Our next graduate is Julia Robinson.
Harvard School. This is the best school for me because teachers and friends like me. My teacher helped me to learn about using money, how to plan things like parties, and reading new things like fairy tales. One of my favorite memories from Harvard was putting on the doll fashion show with Miss Evans and going on the morning show. After Harvard, I plan to move in with Ms. Evans and bring all my collector items. I would also like to join Itinerants. My dream is to work in a DIY workshop, customize clay and paint and fabric, and also tie-dye hair for anime dolls and anime action figures. I want to thank to Ms. Penn, Ms. Evans, Ms. Levin, Mr. Niker, Ms. Willock, and Ms. Hoy. I also want to thank my best friend, Miss Gail. In heaven, lastly, I want to thank my family. I love you all. Thanks for coming.
Our next graduate is Matthew Saraceno.
Good afternoon. Harbor was the best school because at my old school, I would get blamed for things I didn't do, such as telling someone to be quiet so I could focus on class. Harbor helped me by giving us a guided tour of the school. Harbor also helped me with social skills because that was something that I struggled with and also making a lot of friends. One favorite Harbor memory was having a field day instead of Cascade Lake due to COVID. My future plans are getting a CDL and becoming a school bus driver so I can drive kids to school, hopefully a Harbor route. Thank you to the amazing staff, Ms. Mashahi, known as Ms. Wheelock, for welcoming me into middle school, Mr. Nyker for welcoming me into the high school in 2016 when I flew from the middle school, Ms. Adams for letting me help you with tech things around the school and be leader at Tech Academy, Ms. Grohl for my speech, and Ms. Silvery for counseling and helping me with my issues. I just want to give a huge thank you to all the staff for all your help to this day. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll ask you to thank you to my family, including my parents who put me into this school. I will miss the school so much, and thank you, Harbor, for accepting me. The end.
Our next graduate is George Bailey.
Good afternoon, families and staff. Harbor's been the best school for me because the assignments haven't been stressful. I was able to learn a lot more without stress. My favorite memory at Harvard was when a Red Knight Academy went to the Stevenson University football game, which was my first college football game, and it was a lot of fun. My future plan is to get a job, continue to work out, and always learn new things. I achieved my success by working really hard in my classes and also having a good time at the formal prom and all the dances. I want to thank all my family and friends for all that I've been through with my pulmonary hypertension. I'm kind of done with I want to thank myself for getting stronger. And I think my favorite things in my life are my cats, which are my first pets. And also just meeting new people this year. You know, I feel like I did this for Grandpa George. So he's here. I wish he was here right now. Who I was named after. He would have been very proud. Also for Grandma Betty, which was my dad's grandma, who would have been very proud as well. Thank you to all the teachers instead for helping me to get where I need to be in my adult world, such as Ms. Benitez, Ms. McMahon, Ms. Bauer, Ms. Arcus, Ms. Kenner, Ms. Covey, for everything that you've done for me. Thank you.
Our final graduate is Peter Wortham.
Good afternoon, Harbor has been the best school for me as a teacher. They taught in way and that's the best form of learning. My favorite class is English. My favorite memory is Harbor School is the yoga teacher. In the future, I am moving to North Carolina. I'm very excited about this. I to thank the Harvarders for helping me to learn so much and for the future, my future. I also want to thank my family for all they have done for me to get me to this very happy day.
Getting up here and giving a speech to this large group, and when, you know, for all of our graduates, there are people in this audience who know them and love them, and they want to do well for the people who know them and love them. And what they do is pretty impressive. So. Every single one of our graduates in their speeches thank their parents and their families for helping to bring them to this day. And this part of the ceremony is our way of putting that tradition in words. Dr. Ford, take another swig, it's a long one. When your name is called, will you please rise until your student comes to you? Thank you. Michelle and Andrew Beadle, please rise. Please rise. Will Kathleen and Ryan Clark please rise? And please rise, and will we also honor Regina Reese this year. Louisa and Todd Snyder, please rise. Dr. J. Frederick Fish, please rise. Michelle McCollum and Jeff McCollum, please rise. thank you to you parents and families who have trusted your child's education to us. That is one of the most important trusts that I believe a parent can give to another organization or group of people. And I hope we have met your expectations. I know that our staff has worked very, very hard to do so. And now, as a run-up to this main event, we have some special awards. First of all, Maxwell Clemens Beadle. This is the State of Maryland Certificate of Merit that is awarded each year to the top graduate in every graduating class. Congratulations. Senator Chris Van Hollen, who is one of the two Maryland United States senators, every year offers an award to that student who has done the most community service. And I want to say that at the Harbor School, community service is deeds, not words. So at Harbor, to get credit for community service, you aren't going to be in a class where you talk about community service. You are actually going to do community service, which is quite remarkable. This year, the award goes to Annika Marie Kennard, who has done 2,046 hours of community service. When my parents passed away, my dad died in 1989, my mom in 2000. When my mother passed away, she left me, I'm an only child, I got it all. And I decided that with my parents' legacy, that I would establish in their honor the Freedom Bernard White Scholarship. Because I've always been excellent at spending their money. This year we decided to award these scholarships, or to offer the scholarships, to children of staff. And so we have two children of staff members here who are receiving Freedom Bernard White scholarships to assist them in attending post-secondary education at a university. And first is Gabrielle Pasco. Gabriella is Ann Pasco's daughter. You want to stand up, Ann? These people holler when I slow things up. The other recipient is Reagan Lee. She is Tracy Lee's daughter. Tracy? Congratulations. Executive. So regardless of whether your child is city or one of the surrounding other counties, the county executive of Baltimore County provides these citations for all harbor residents. What we decided to do this year is I will read the full citation for Max only because he's the first student. After that, I'm just going to read the specifics for the individual student because you will have memorized the full certificate, the first reading. Baltimore County Executive Citation, Max Hamans Beadle. In recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your diligence in learning and strong morals in the community is simply admirable. This academic achievement is an outstanding accomplishment and serves as an example for young people across our communities. On behalf of the people of Baltimore County, I am proud to congratulate you on your graduation, applaud your dedication to self-enrichment, and wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Given under my hand and the great seal of Baltimore County, the 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Olszewski Jr., County Executive. Clayton. Clayton Dennis Belcher, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your diligence in accomplishing goals and upholding a solid work ethic is simply admirable. This academic achievement is an outstanding example and serves as an example for young people across our communities. Given under my hand and the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Olszewski Jr., County Executive. William Bradley Buck. Will? In recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your diligence for showing perseverance and meeting personal goals is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Olszewski Jr., County Executive. Thank you, sir. Ian?
Right.
Ian Robert Colvin Snyder, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your social growth and inquisitive nature is simply admirable. This academic achievement is an outstanding accomplishment. Given under my hand and the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Olszewski Jr., County Executive. Nick? Nicholas Anthony Davis Magalowski, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your dedication, ideas, and contributions to broadcasting is simply admirable. Given under my hand and the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Olszewski Jr., County Executive. Brendan? Brendan Doherty, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your perseverance and flexibility in adverse situations is simply admirable. Given under my hand and the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Olszewski Jr., County Executive. Hale? Did I skip somebody? What? Johnson? in recognition of your graduation from Harbor School Board, your dedication and passion for all animals is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Congratulations. Hale. Hal Frazier, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your leadership skills on and off the field is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Connor? Connor Thomas Gamble, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your hard work and drive to achieve your goals is simply admirable. This academic achievement is an outstanding accomplishment. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Sophia, we got a system now. Oh, what's perfect. Sophia Emily Goldstein, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your compassionate nature and willingness to help others is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, Maryland, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. William? William Manuel Exuperin Gordon, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School at Baltimore, your social growth and leadership in the workplace is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Sarah? Sarah Miriam Hawk. In recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your work ethic and enthusiasm when working with children is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Annika? 2,000 hours work. That's impressive. Do you have time to go to school? Because I know you had time to work for the performing arts. I just wondered about all this. 2,000 hours. Annika Marie Kenner, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your dedication to public service and drive for personal goals is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Kennedy? Kennedy Drea Knight, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your caring nature and positive outlook is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Anthony? I think this is probably the first time I called you Anthony. These are academy ropes. I'm a little bit obsessed with that, so I have to find it out. Anthony Liddell, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your drive and dedication to meeting your personal goals is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Peter? Executive citation. Peter Thomas Roberto, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your excellence in art and creative endeavors is simply admirable. Given under my hand in great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Hunter? Hunter Brand McLaughlin, when you're famous, you have to count. Hunter Brand McLaughlin, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your strong-willed nature and growth in the community is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Ryan? Ryan Lewis Olson, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your humor and self-determination is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Zach? Zachary Evans Peters, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your work ethic and empathetic nature toward your peers is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Lucas Executive citation. Lucas Clark Prince, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your ability to advocate for yourself and others is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Julia? Julia DeSales Robinson, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your creativity and positive outlook is simply admirable. Given under my hand in the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Congratulations. Matthew? Executive citation. Matthew Joseph Saraceno. In recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School of Baltimore, your innate curiosity and willingness to help others is simply admirable. Given under my hand and the great seal of Baltimore County, Maryland, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. George Roman Whalen, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School at Baltimore, your social growth and personal development is simply admirable. Given under my hand and the great seal of Baltimore County, Maryland, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Executive citation. Peter C. Warthen, in recognition of your graduation from the Harbor School at Baltimore, your sense of humor and social development is simply admirable. Given under my hand and the great seal of Baltimore County, this 5th day of June in the year 2022, John A. Oshesky Jr., County Executive. Now, the reason you all came here today. The Harbor School is unique in many, many ways, and one of them is every one of our students has an IEP mentor, but that's pretty much a requirement of the federal and state law. But at Harvard, their IEP mentors truly care for, mentor, and take care of these kids. And so one of their responsibilities is to make sure that the students are prepared for graduation and have met all the requirements. And so mentors present their students to me and validate that they're ready to receive their diploma or their certificate. Mr. Harrison.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Maxwell Clements Beadle, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
As a fellow vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. First up, so I get to explain to you two things. First of all, our students all must earn the requirements for a diploma from their sending county. So they have to meet all the different county requirements. So what they get is a public school diploma from the public school that funds them to come here. We have to go and collect the official diplomas from the various counties. This particular year, none of the counties have the diplomas ready. So our students are getting this lovely, this has the warning. So our students are just getting what is actually a placeholder until we can get the real diplomas in. You will get your county diploma. However, through the years, many of our students have complained that it was lovely they got the county diploma, but they never went to that school. So it didn't really mean a lot to them. It really was well done, a good looking piece of paper, but they said, well, I went to the Harbor School. So as a consequence, we have created a Harbor School Award suitable for framing that our students get in addition to the county diploma. So that's why you will see students getting 2 folders. Thank you for being here. Ms. Pasco.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Clayton Dennis Belcher, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education, and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
You will notice we were able to get the official outside folder, just not the official inside. Clayton Dennis Belcher, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Harbor School Board, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Congratulations.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of Harbor High School, I present to you William Bradley Brock, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education, and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
William Bradley Brock, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Here you go, Will. This is yours too.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present Ian Robert Colvin Snyder, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education, and who has successfully completed all of the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
Ian Robert Calvin Snyder, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and by the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Nicholas Anthony Davis Magliazzi, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education, and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
Nicholas Anthony David Magliazzi, on behalf of the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and by the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Do you have enough pictures? Mr. Johnson.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Brendan Liam Dougherty, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
By the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Congratulations. Ms. Mosby.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Jocelyn Carolina Fish, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
Jocelyn Carolina Fish, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and by the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Congratulations. Ms. Pasco.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Hale Flesher, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education, and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
Hal Flesher, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and by the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Ms. Kenner.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Connor Thomas Gamble, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
Connor Thomas Gamble, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and by the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Miss Mosby, this is going to be a busy day for you. That's all right. You're a competent woman. I know you can manage this.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Sophia Emily Goldstein, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education, and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school certificate.
Sophia Emily Goldstein, on behalf of the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school certificate. Congratulations.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you William Manuel Zequin Gordon, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
William Manuel Zequin Gordon, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Congratulations. Sarah Miriam Hock, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Now you're back. Ms. Mosby.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Annika Marie Connors, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
Annika Marie Kennert, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Congratulations. And Ms. Schneider has a present for you. Mr. Benitez.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Kennedy Drea Knight, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education and who has successfully completed all high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
Kennedy Drea Knight, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and by the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Congratulations. Where's the other award? Where's ours? Oh. Mr. Harrison.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Anthony Leno, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education, and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
Anthony Lynette, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Congratulations. Hi, Ms. Mosby.
Hello. Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Peter Thomas Labruto, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education, and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies, and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
When I tell you as staff love your kids almost as much as you do, I'm not fooling. Peter Thomas Labruto, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and by the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Congratulations, Peter. She didn't feel that way at all, Peter.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Hunter Braun McLaughlin, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
Hunter Braun McLaughlin, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and by the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Congratulations. Mr. Harrison.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Ryan Lewis Olson, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education, and who has successfully completed all of the high school competencies and hereby eligible to receive a high school certificate.
Let the word go forth. Carroll County sent us diplomas. Ryan Lewis Olson, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and by the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Congratulations. Mr. Johnson.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Zachary Evan Peters, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
Zachary Evans Peters, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and by the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Congratulations. Here you go, Zach. Ms. Esterman.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Lucas Clark Prince, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
Lucas Clark Prince, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and by the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. You know how the paparazzi are, right? The paparazzi, that's what we call this project. Thank you. Mr. Nykerk.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Julia DeSales Robinson, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education, and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school certificate.
Julia DeSales Robinson, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school certificate. Hi, Mr. Nykerk.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Matthew Joseph Saraceno, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education, and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
Come back here, Matthew. I have to say the magical words. Come back. Matthew, you have to listen to my magic words. Okay, you ready? By the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Congratulations. Mr. Benitez.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you George Roman Wallen, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education and who has successfully completed all the high school competency and is hereby eligible to receive a high school diploma.
George Roman Wallen, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school diploma. Congratulations. Ms. Pasco.
Dr. Jacobs, on behalf of the Harbor High School, I present to you Peter C. Worthen, who has completed all the requirements as set forth by the Maryland State Board of Education and who has successfully completed all the high school competencies and is hereby eligible to receive a high school certificate.
It's real. Peter Christopher Worthen, by the authority vested in me by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Board of the Harbor School, I hereby award you your high school certificate. Congratulations. Let's give all these students graduates a round of applause. There are two more traditions in a graduation. The first of these is the turning of the tassels. So your tassels are all on the right. Remember when you were lining up, I kept saying, make sure your tassels on the right, on the right. But after you graduate, it gets to be on the left. So whenever you take your tassel and turn to the other side. Because that the turning of your school ring. So if any of you has a Harbor School ring, take it off, turn it around, and put it back on again. Now I'm going to ask you to stand for the Harbor School fight song and remain standing for the processional of the students. Probably left